Thanks for joining us today. Just a brief introduction about myself. So I spent the majority of my career in TradFi. It was at HSBC's Treasury Department, and I managed treasury risk for corporate clients. And that was across multiple asset classes, namely FX and rates. I covered vanilla products, spots and forwards and swaps, but also derivative products and structured products as well. I had a brief stint at at Currency Cloud, a fintech called Currency Cloud, just as they got acquired by Visa. And Currency Cloud do cross-border payments as infrastructure, and there I covered the Treasury Department as well. So I started my crypto journey in about 2016, 2017, during the bull run. I don't think I knew what I was doing back then, and I won't talk about the returns during that cycle. But that made me want to double down on crypto and understand it in more detail, so I was more ready for the next cycle. And I found myself spending a lot of time involved with crypto after working hours, so I decided the best thing to do at the time was to make crypto my day job as well. And that's when I joined Ramp's Treasury team. And that's what this talk is about. It's what does Treasury do in a crypto payments company. So do I change the slides or? Oh, sorry, okay. There we go. Okay, so in a nutshell, crypto treasury in a payments company involves anticipating how much crypto assets we need, where and when, while trying to remain as capital efficient as possible. And that's essentially what we're trying to optimize for. So if we were to break this down into broad categories, that will involve managing the fiat risk, managing the crypto risk, and that involves the flows, the settlements, the funding, and the associated risks with it as well. And in addition to that, we also involved in investing our surplus cash into yield enhancement products. And that's a bit of a balancing act where we're trying to generate returns and also trying to take on an appropriate amount of risk that we're comfortable with. So what does that mean on the ground? Well, it involves building a payment stack which stitches together products from various actors in the market. So that stack includes banks, payment service providers, crypto exchanges, OTC desks, and crypto custody providers as well. Is that not working? Sorry. Do you know what's going on? There we go. Sorry. So, when you have a payments company, the product itself is essentially a treasury function. So before, the treasury, so therefore the treasury of the company can essentially be considered as a nerve center of the company. At Ramp Treasury, we bring together all these actors and we try to reduce the friction points as much as possible in order to deliver a quicker, cheaper, and smoother experience for our users. And this treasury being the nerve center of the company, that's true for TradFi payment companies as well. So, what does crypto on-ramping and off-ramping involve? So when a user use a platform like Ramp, they book a trade from fiat to crypto, they see fiat going out of their end and crypto coming into their wallet. But if we were to break this down into its component parts and look at the flow, we could break it down into these three categories. So that would be FX, the crypto exchange rate, and the network fees. And with off-ramping, of course, that is just the opposite flow. So at Ramp's Treasury team, we try to optimize each of these components individually, and when we put it all together, it translates into the quicker, cheaper, smoother user experience that we're looking to bring our users. So I'll spend some time discussing the challenges we face as crypto treasury. So one of the biggest challenges, I'd say, is, So I'd say the biggest challenge that we face is access to banking services. It still is unbelievably hard trying to access banking services. And that's something that many industries would take for granted, just simple stuff like multi-currency accounts or access to products like FX forwards or FX swaps to manage our FX exposure, or even weekend settlements of fiat. That's something that we face a challenge on a daily basis. And I don't think there's a single crypto startup that's able to bank with a tier 1 bank. So if anyone here does work in crypto payments and works at the tier 1 bank, please let me know who that is, because we want to make an account there. And because of that, because of the downstream risks of crypto payments, many fintechs who provide these services, they're not willing to back our risk as well. So they're just a bit more wary of us. The other challenge as well is jurisdictions. So access to products, such as, let's say, crypto hedging products, we are restricted from jurisdiction to jurisdiction over there as well. The other problem we actually face is availability of a crypto or a bespoke crypto treasury management system. I mean, in order to manage a treasury effectively, the treasury management system is critical. And there's very little on the market that can provide us this. And from what we've seen so far, the systems are more built for TradFi solutions, and they're trying to shoehorn crypto treasury into it. So, I mean, like fiat currency infrastructure is fundamentally different to cryptocurrency infrastructure. And that's like another major friction point for us. So if anyone's looking for a good startup idea, like crypto treasury solution, treasury management solutions is something to look at. And finally, as crypto treasury is a relatively new function, we do see ourselves as pioneers in this space. So there's no really set standard of best practices that we can consult when we're trying to do this. We are pretty much writing the book on this as we go along. And one idea to help with this is try to get a network of crypto treasury teams together just to share knowledge and best practices and information about the systems and products. So we can basically move this industry forward together. That's it from my end. I'll open the floor to questions if anyone has any. I mean, if you look at, I'll go back a few slides. I mean, each component part over here is really expensive. So when you put it all together, it does look like a pretty huge charge. But to the crypto treasury, it's not us taking a big cut of it. It's because the cost to us is that high. I mean, if you take the example of FX, I mean, with the counterparties that we transact with, we're not really getting good spreads over there. And on top of that, we can't really manage that risk ourselves. So we could look to book FX forwards, FX swaps to try to reduce that cost, but we don't have access to those products, so we can't really pass it on to our clients. Yeah, essentially, yes. That plus the lack of ability to actually manage it ourselves. We're kind of at the mercy of whatever we're given. That's hard to say, but I mean, it really depends on these three functions, let's say. All right, thanks everyone.
Thank you.